Welcome everybody to episode 6 of Raise the Bar. We're joined here by special guest, Kate Fahey.
Hey guys.
Former tennis player.
They're actually legit. And the most important thing is you're the 2014 New Jersey State Singles Champion.
That's it. That's all we need to say. When I first started out playing mixed, I was just like, okay, I have a role. I'm on the right side of the court. My role is literally just to get to the woman and just dink cross court. Working on my aggression towards the guy. I had a really hard time doing that against Dekel last week, but
I had to play her in qualies.
Oh yeah.
In Dallas, that's some bullshit. Her and John. Second round of qualies. I'm like, come on.
Thanks for inviting me.
Look at that, she's leaving with a smile. We did it, dude. We need to set the narrative straight.
Okay.
Dekel is not the 167th best pro pickleball player in the world. I consider him 167, but he is the top 10, so you should value his insights and tidbits.
This was hard. This was hard to achieve.
Welcome everybody to episode 6 of Raise the Bar here at Dekel in Austin at the lab. And we're joined here by special guests. We're going to do our player check-in with Kate Fahey. Welcome, Kate.
Hey guys. Excited to be here.
You sound it. It's great. We are very excited to have you. We're also excited to get into this week in pickle and a juicy tidbit later in the episode. But anyways, we're going to chat with our friend Kate. She's been top of mind for everyone who follows this little bubble of pro pickleball, whether you're on the women's side or you're a singles player or not. But I'd say congrats. What would you introduce Kate as? Like, what's her bio? I can help you, Dekel.
Recently or in her bio?
Bio.
Bio. I'm not sure about all your history, to be honest.
You didn't know she's the
former tennis player. I'm not exactly sure all your accolades there. I apologize.
They're actually legit. And the most important thing is you're the 2014 New Jersey State Singles Champion.
That's it. That's all we need to say. We can just
That's it. We're going deep on YouTube.
I know you were legit. That's all I know.
Yeah. Michigan leader in singles wins. How many, Kate?
How many wins?
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think it was like 132. And she's the leading career winning percentage at Michigan. So
wow, nice.
Pretty legit, 4-time Big Ten, all that stuff. But now,
to be honest, when people tell me about their college achievements and stuff, I didn't play college tennis, so I'm not even sure what they mean. So all I know is somebody tells me they're legit, they're not legit. That's all I know.
I feel like you can tell. Like some people have like tennis backgrounds, you're like okay, and then you're like others are like, all right, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Just a little cultural divide there from Dekel. But okay, so we'll cut to the chase. A silver, a gold, a silver in singles. I think you're the 17th
No, that's
seed.
legit.
That's legit. That's legit. On the PPA tour, that's legit.
Yeah, not APP.
Whoa, wait. So we have a list of items, but are you technically still unsigned?
I'm still unsigned. Yeah.
So you're unsigned, but you're throwing a little shade to APP.
I just did, yeah. That's my bad. Hopefully they'll stay on.
I think that's a text from your agent right there.
Shut your mouth.
So two things on that note. You're still unsigned for Big Pickleball, UPA, PPA. Will that continue? And what has the rationale been to date as to why you're unsigned?
Yeah, I at the time when all the tour wars were happening, I originally signed with PPA, but then at the time I still had a full-time job, and so I was like working a full schedule, going into the office 3 times a week, 9 to 5. And so back in like the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, maybe this whole pickleball thing, I should just focus on work. And so I was a little bit like heads down on work, not as much into pickleball. And then I wasn't signed with PPA because I was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on other stuff. But then I got drafted, and then my mindset kind of shifted where I was like, okay, I'm full in. I want to quit my job. I'm going to be a full-time pickleball player. So now I'm still unsigned, and now I'm kind of in this like gray area where it's like, obviously I think the PPA has the best players. I don't think anyone can argue that. Like best league,
For sure.
It's where all the top players are. I think, playing APPs, they have good prize money. And so I think that's what the rationale is, where a lot of unsigned players are playing APPs kind of to fund playing the PPAs. But it is, it's good like having the freedom to be able to do so. But I think like my focus is like, okay, how can I do the best at PPAs? Because that's where all the recognition is. that's what I think a lot of the sponsors care about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been my focus.
That's cool. I mean, Will Howells is like on that same chartered territory with you, where he's cleaning up in a weekend. He's cleaning up in a real way.
He's just doing the other, like he's just playing APPs and
Yeah,
and MLP.
he's medaling once or twice, and that's could be 6, 8, 10K, and if it's prize money matching from a paddle sponsor, or if you've signed the APP where you play 6, So, anyways, it's kind of that.
Do you see that? And sometimes like, dang, maybe I should be doing that instead of playing full time on PPA when you're not getting as much prize money, or you're like, I'm looking to get signed by the PPA, and this is the route I'm going, and like for sponsorships and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, my goal is to definitely sign with the PPA. I think that's like the best route. I just want to be where the best players are, and I want to be competing against the best players. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I need to fund being able to travel and, paying for hotels, paying for entry fees. And so there is sort of like I'm trying to get my APPs up so I can get like the multiplier, the prize money multiplier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like my primary focus isn't on APP. I mostly just want to because especially in the beginning, I was like, I want to get my name out there. I want to make sure people know who I am. MLP helped out a little bit, but I'm still like, okay, I just want to compete with the best players.
A little bit. You had one unforced error in your first match ever against the Ranchers. Like, goddamn. Yeah, it was.
I was so nervous right now. I was like,
you were so nervous. You and Tina.
Don't whiff.
Well, you and Tina hit maybe 300 cross-court dinks, both in the same spot.
Me and Etta were like,
it was like a bobbing ocean.
Really.
I feel like it's like two of the most consistent players right now. Like, especially with cross-court dinking, you and Tina.
Yeah, we had a long mixed match. There was
it was like 27 minutes in rally scoring. It was like absurd. And I known about you because you played with Sincola in the Austin PPA, and John's a big lab rat here and friend of ours, and I think he's whiffed a few times, but he has a pretty good eye for talent. And anyways, it was fun because I think you beat Lindsay Newman and Rafa, in a second round there, and that was fun to watch you. And anyway, but then you came into MLP and set the tone against the Ranchers, and that was
really no one. Yeah, not a lot of people knew who I was. I think like someone it was like a big fan of Anna, and they were just like making posters to be nice for me.
It's Brooks.
With Anna. Yeah, Brooks.
Yeah,
he either made it or was like, I was gonna make a poster that says like, you just lost to someone you needed to Google. I was like,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Brooks is an interesting cat, but he's awesome. Deeply in your corner. But yeah, it's interesting. The unsigned. I think you'll get signed. Speaking of signing, though, and funding these trips to play against the best and potentially be on the medal stand, which you've been. JOOLA, boo boo boo. I saw you at the JOOLA dinner with Agassi in Vegas, and then you were obviously in Orlando. How was that? How did that come to be? For all the people listening who are like, I could get sponsored. I want a paddle deal. I know these people have paddle deals. Like, how's it actually been the last 3 to 6 months trying to earn your way to a paddle deal from a reputable brand?
That is tough because I think JOOLA kind of recognized me early on and like had belief in me, which was really nice, especially like early on in my career when not a lot of people like knew who I was or what I was doing, and so that was really nice having their belief. I think it is difficult. Like, there's also just a lot of paddles, like new paddles coming up, and it's like, okay, who do I go with? Like, do I use this paddle? I think JOOLA has the best paddles, and so I think I've been a little bit spoiled with them. But like, it is hard to like being a new upcoming player, and it's like, okay, do I sign with this like lesser known paddle that maybe I don't like as much and I get less money, or do I go with like a bigger company and not get as much but have a really good paddle? I think you
get to be friends with Brooke and Etta on and Caitlin. That's cool.
Yeah, there's everyone. I mean, Orlando was awesome. That was my first time, and it was just like so cool seeing everybody, like big names, Dekel, Ben, Colin. I was like, this is awesome.
It's crazy how many. I mean, so many JOOLA pros, and everybody's there. It was fun.
Is it usually like that? Like everyone shows up?
It's my first year too. I signed in December, January, so it's my first time too. But yeah, from what I understand, every year was like that. All the pros going, lots of people, tournament clinics, everybody kind of together. So it's really definitely fun and unique. Like, you don't get to see or get to like experience so many pros like teaching at the same time. We probably had like for every 4 like participants, we had like one pro, and most of them are top pros too. So it's very unique. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend as an amateur. It's
Yeah. Make
fun
sure you get on a
experience.
court with Kate or Dekel,
Yeah,
not Preston. Not Preston.
Preston does a great job actually. He's in
Yeah, no,
charge,
he did.
and yeah, Preston
He's a good
did
time.
a really good time.
He also
Really
has
good
the
job.
best arms in pickleball.
He told me that. He goes, we were going around. We were working on lobs, and he goes,
No
he
way.
like told me, and he's like, by the way, like I have the best overhead in pickleball. Oh, I didn't know that. And he's like, well, look at these, and I was like,
Yeah, he was an MC for MLP like Daytona and was walking around like after his shift in like tank, and I was like, okay, dude, that's
oh,
impressive.
my.
I'm
I
not
mean, you
hating.
see
I'm not
Instagram, he's like jumping over like 7-foot boxes. I'm like, jeez.
Yeah. No, he's very athletic.
Yeah. Real quick before we get into the pickleball version of tennis, do you watch tennis still, or are you one of those that have turned the dark chapter behind?
I've like turned the dark chapter in terms of playing. I really don't touch like tennis rackets. I don't really play a lot
Good.
anymore. I do sometimes watch. I feel like when I stopped playing tennis, I had to retire from tennis because of my 4th wrist surgery, and so I was a little bit depressed.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like I literally couldn't hit a backhand anymore. So it was
Is
almost
that
like
not is that on the left hand?
left hand. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So pickleball doesn't affect it as much because like
Right.
the impact of the ball isn't as significant. But so after I retired from tennis, I just kind of avoided it. I was just like, I want nothing to do with it. It made me sad to watch it on TV. But now I'm kind of like coming back to it, and I have so much appreciation for the sport. I think it's amazing, and
So you've been watching the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Are you a big Emma Navarro fan?
Yeah, she's great. I remember like playing with her in juniors, and she was always like super good. And then that's not. She's like a lot younger than me, but now seeing her like rise, I also love seeing like collegiate tennis players do really well.
Yeah.
I hope more and more people start to go to college and get that experience and then go pro.
Who's the player on the women's side that you like watching now in tennis? If you could watch 5 matches in a row and they would be in it.
I really like Coco Gauff. I think she's awesome.
Nice.
I love her like spirit and competitiveness. I also think she like shows emotion on the court, which I like, as you guys probably know.
Yeah, that's why you didn't +1 Emma that much, because Emma's like Ben-esque, like calm killer. She's crazy. Her strokes and movement are insane. Like her and Tommy Paul in the last week, and I've seen them before, but I'm a little bit on the bandwagon. But they would translate really well to pickle. Instead of like these big loopy stuff, they're just like, they're good movers. They got touch. She's got like a bag of tricks. Like she's crazy. Like the way she tore up Coco in Wimbledon was like, she had it on a dime. Is there a women's tennis player that you think would convert well to pickle? Because I don't necessarily think like a Coco stands out to me, in that regard. But
I feel like I think I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Swiatek.
Okay. Yeah.
Iga.
Swiatek. I feel like she would be really good. I think she just has like an all-court game. She like slides, she slices, and she comes into the net a lot. I think that's like an all-court game translates a little bit better to pickleball than just kind of like a grind baseline or like a Medvedev.
Maybe like a Jabeur.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She'd have the heaviest. She'd have like a Rachel, like just use the lightest paddle. She'd use the halo and just smack people.
So much power.
Really bag everyone.
She'd be like the Jay DeVilliers on the female side. Okay, we'll move on from that. I guess you've had an encounter, but so you've been crushing in singles. It's hard to do given how physical it is, and week after week, and so it's an amazing run. I remember we talked after you lost a really athletic, grindy match to Caitlin Christian on the worst court the PPA Tour has ever seen. This was worse than Vegas. The indoor, dimly lit, bird poop,
raining.
I didn't have a light, like literally.
Yes, no light, blue background.
Playing on that one, so they were like, "All right, put on a women's singles match."
It was the worst court pros have ever played on, I think, in multiple years. But anyways, you lost to her, and we were chatting on the sideline after, and you were like, I was like, good effort. And you're like, yeah, for sure. I just don't know what I'm doing out there. I'm hitting the same spots with the same power. Obviously, you've gotten better. You've beat her several times. You've beat a lot of other women. What's changed in the singles game?
Yeah, I think like when I first started playing pickleball, I didn't play any singles because it was on a Thursday and I couldn't go because of work. So I more recently kind of picked up singles, and I think I was almost going about it like just playing tennis. I had these like huge strokes, and I was just like coming from like girls would come in and I would try to hit these like huge balls and like not have any time and really just try to hit through people. I think that was the biggest thing. I would just try to hit
Yeah.
through the court. I think I kind of learned quickly that's not really, I mean, women, I feel like do it more than men. Women don't really do the cat and mouse thing, but I realized like, having more like spin drops or like trying to get the ball off the court, like, drop volleys, using a little
Yeah.
more versatility when I played singles really helped me, like shortening my swing so that I can like either put it down the line or put it like drop cross. I think just like showing girls different shots as well. And I think like I've tried to come in a little bit more.
Yeah,
I
I was
feel
gonna say the first couple of matches I saw you play singles, you were only like in the back and kind of refusing to come in or just
Yeah.
not comfortable there, and now you go in a lot more. It's
Yeah.
very different.
I remember I played like I think I was playing singles in Atlanta and Lacey was literally like, "You look like you're just playing tennis out there. It looks really beautiful." And I was like, "I am." Oh my gosh. She's like, "You gotta go to the net." And I'm like, "I know." So I like coming in a little bit more. I like choosing I really like how Anna Lee plays, obviously. Like I like choosing my spots. I don't really just like rushing the net. I like choosing which balls
Yeah.
to come in on.
And some of the guys have been doing that too.
A little bit more than the
Yates
past.
and Hunter, like it was maybe second or third baseline stroke they would do it, but it was not full send to kind of cover. Even if it was a good return, they weren't necessarily doing it right off the bat
Yeah.
on the
I mean, I
first
think
one.
it's hard for guys. Like I'm watching, in like Dream Breakers and everything. Like when a guy has a huge serve and you can't really get much of it on the return, you're almost like giving them an invitation to just like pass you at the net.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
maybe that'll change a little bit.
Yeah. Who's helped you out most in singles? Obviously, I'm sure you've watched some of your own film, and Lacey is a friend and it tells you not to play tennis. But who's helped you out the most on like real X's and O's and patterns on the women's side?
On the
It could be a man, but I'm saying in the women's singles game.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I haven't really been able to emulate her, but like Annalie Waters, that's how I want to play. Like she picks her shots to come in. She like approaches the net when I get like a low volley. Like I've never seen a girl do that. Like I got a low volley and she would just like rush the net, and then I mean you have a pretty easy layup when it comes in. I really like Caitlin's ability to cover the net. I think she's just extremely athletic and does a really good
Yeah.
job covering the net. I think so does Catherine Parento. In terms of like short game, I feel like Zoe and Lacey have really good drop volleys, and I've really wanted to emulate that. So I feel like I've been trying to pick like things from people's games that I like a lot. I think the women's singles game has definitely grown, and so people have different strengths, and um, I just try to pick things off. Especially when I play people, I'm like, I want that shot, so then I go back and work on it.
That's cool. It has to grow more though. Like, who's the next Kate Fahey, or do you ever get inbound from people with a similar background that or like, hey, I'm thinking about making my way into pickle, or how would I do it, or I'm doing it, can you help me?
Yeah. Some of my tennis friends they've kind of like maxed out, I think, on the tour, and so one of my friends texted me and she's like, "I'm ready to be drafted. Like, where do I sign up?" I was like, "Okay, it's a little bit like of a longer process than that." Like,
Yeah.
but I think some like more tennis players will start to get into it. Like either collegiate players will start to play like right after college, or like pros that have tried in to play like on the tour will try to like convert over. But I think like I mean players like Jeannie Bouchard, Lane Sleeth, like I think they have a really strong tennis background, so I can see them like
Yeah.
competing a ton, or just like new tennis players come in and pick it
Yeah.
up quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody picks it up quickly in singles at first, and that's their main event. And I feel like slowly when people start doing better in doubles, then they maybe drop singles, or it's just not a priority for them. Like we saw it a lot, and there's a lot of guys that did that, and women. But personally, that was a thing I did, and I feel like there's a few guys that like someone like Jaume. He's still like playing singles full time, and it's like it's still a priority for him, but maybe not as a priority that like it was, 6 months ago when his doubles results weren't as good.
True.
It's hard to do all three events well. Or someone like J-Dub, he's like going deep every week in mix and men's, and singles used to be a priority for him, and now a little bit less. So I feel like it's kind of like a natural transition.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I know it's interesting. I feel like I work way more on doubles, obviously, and then,
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't been doing as well as singles and obviously doubles and mix, and so my priority right now even like is still just like on practicing doubles.
Yeah. So how do you practice for doubles? Like, do you play more more rec games, more drilling, and who do you play with at home?
Yeah, I live in New Jersey, so I don't have a ton of people to play with. I drill with Caitlin Kerr, who I like a
Nice.
lot. I love drilling. I know a lot of people like don't really like drilling or would rather play rec. I also play with like some 5-0 guys in my area, and as much as I love playing with them, I feel like sometimes we play games and they don't totally emulate like a
Not
pro game, and so
not
you might
realistic. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like you might just I just get smacked in the face a lot and then sped up a lot, and so I feel like I developed some bad habits. So I feel like my default, especially when I'm home, is just to drill. I kind of pick a shot that I want to work on and really like focus on that shot. Recently, I really want a backhand flick, and so I've been watching a ton of videos, and
okay.
I
What's what style do you think you're gonna go with?
I really like ABs. I feel like she doesn't use a
Mm.
ton of it. She uses a lot of shoulder,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah,
really like picks it up from the ground. And I feel like, especially for women that might not have as much like wrist or forearm strength, that's like super helpful. I also feel like she disguises where she puts it well. So I mean, it's a hard shot, and I don't think I'm gonna get it for a little bit, but it's something I'm working on.
That's cool.
nice.
And your obsession or your interest in drilling, does that come from like it just hits you in the right spot mentally of like I want to get better and this seems like the fast track, or did you go through the experience of playing messy, muddy rec and or knowing that like, hey, if I go and drill pound for pound, this hour of drilling is like far higher than the median rec game. Like, how did that? Because some people are like, oh, I haven't seen progress as much as I'd like for 6 months or a year, especially on the amateur side, and then they start drilling, and then it's like, whoa, I could practice,
Yeah.
and it's like,
I
like,
I feel like I started out playing a lot of rec just because it's like
yeah,
fun and you're like, oh my gosh, I'd love to play and compete and everything. And then once I was like, okay, I need to get better on some stuff, I kind of realized like I need to drill a lot more. And once I started drilling, then I was like, okay, I can get better at skills a little bit quicker.
yeah,
And I also feel like once you like play a good amount of matches, you kind of know how to like incorporate what you've been working on drilling in matches, and so not as important to get so much rec play. But I think it's like tennis. I love to practice. I just love to hit balls, and so pickleball,
yeah,
like I could freaking ding cross court for hours, and I would find it fun. I also think you have to do it like intentionally. I see a lot of people kind of drill, and they're just like are not that into it, and so I'm like,
yeah,
when you drill, you need to like really focus. So
Yeah, there's not all the pros drill well. Some of them, I mean, they play games well maybe, but a lot of them are not very intentional when they're practicing or just maybe not practicing on all the right things exactly. And I feel like there's a good chunk of pros that would benefit a lot from a coach to help them or just kind of to motivate them on the side, which we do have in most other sports. And it's not like a diss on them
it's
or
not a
anything.
handicap,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's just
yeah,
for some people it is a little bit harder. For some it's easier. And even for the people that it's easier for them, you go through like motivation at times that it's higher and lower, and like your practices are better or worse. And like if you have a coach with you or somebody like is guiding you, then it's usually will be in a higher level more consistently.
yep, yeah,
It's funny because well, we don't have to talk about
Yeah.
Kwong, but I think Kwong and his dad have gotten a little bit of flack. But then you look at you look at the U.S. Open or Wimbledon or Aussie Open, and you have like mature 35-year-olds, 30-year-olds who've made millions of dollars or 10 in the global sport, and then they're yelling at their box, or they're looking for guidance at their
Yeah.
box. And I've always felt it was like a
that's
weird. I've always felt it was like a weird low blow that doesn't make sense given all the tennis, crossover. And then even today, like, Curious will say like props to, Tiafo and his team, and it's like they're very much coupled,
Yeah.
whether it's commentators or fellow players, like it's that player in their team. And, we may likely see that play out.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
everybody can benefit from the right fit of a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Anna was here last week with us.
Not a big
and-
deal. AB on Raise the Bar.
And she basically said that
drop.
she basically said that she taught you everything you know. Is that true?
She's-
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I mean she's
Uh,
talking a lot. I mean,
That was a bad bait ball.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, but I wanted to ask, like, how helpful, if at all, has she been in your progress?
yeah, I mean she's been like extremely monumental. I mean she took a huge chance on me, and not a lot of people knew about me. I think she saw me play in Austin. We also played a college tennis match against each other, and it was just like kind of a bitch fest, and so she knew I had that in me, and she wanted that on her team.
Oh, is that match recorded?
Hopefully not. No.
we
Kidding.
gotta dig and
bitch
find it.
fest.
she knew I could compete, and so I think she took a chance on me. And ever since she drafted me, like I've been going down to Florida to train with her, and I mean her intensity is just like unparalleled. Like I've never seen anything like it. She like literally will just like go out and dink, and for the first 5 minutes, she's like, "Don't miss, don't miss." And I'm like, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. Like I have so much respect for her, and just like asking her, like sometimes she'll pick up on things like, "Hey, I see you doing this. Like you might want to do this," or like I'll just ask her questions during practice, and she always has really good insight. And I remember one time we were down in Florida, and she like practices a good amount with her dad and her mom, and her dad will
Yeah.
like go out and feed her balls. And so her dad literally spent an hour feeding me ATPs.
No
And
way.
like yeah, just like from the good of his heart was just like Anna texted him, was like, Kate needs to work on this shot, and so let's go out and drill it. And he just went out with me and just drilled, and it was pretty amazing.
That's sick. What percentage of signed players have spent more than 2 hours total practicing ATPs?
Less,
20%?
less. I
10%?
don't know. I've never intentionally practiced ATPs. I practice them. We're like when we're dinking cross courts and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Well, you
hit
never
it- you
get
hit
those
'em-
balls from me, but
you,
yeah,
you hit them
theoretically.
a lot in just rec play and stuff. But I can't say that I have like drilled ATPs.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Maybe I should, but
No, I had a poll about it like a month ago, and a few hundred people responded. Not a big deal, but it was like 80% of people were like, "I've thought about it, and I want to, and I should, but I haven't." And
You
it's
don't really
funny.
think
Just
about it. You're like, how the heck would I
yeah,
drill that? And but here, like we do it before tournaments too. Like we're on an MLP, like the day before, like we'll just drill some sharp angles and just get it drilled down. But it's pretty
from the
amazing.
jet to the outside of the net. There we go.
Casual.
Okay, I don't know if we have enough time to talk about women's dubs, but let's talk about mixed. It's obviously an area that an athletic and or fierce kind of woman can step into and play that role. What do you do in mixed now that you don't necessarily do 3 months ago? Like where have you improved? What are you looking for? How do you have you better internalize like the role of the right side lady?
I think when I first started out playing mix, I was just like, okay, I have a role. I'm on the right side of the court. My role is literally just to hit to the woman and just dink cross court. And that was pretty much like all I was doing. I was trying to reset everything to the woman. And now, the higher the level gets, it's like the woman has much more of a role than that. Like she's, responsible for setting her partner up, and you set your partner up through some sort of like aggression. It's not like speeding up every ball at the guy or the girl, but it is like you need some sort of aggression and versatility to show them different looks and to get the ball that you want. So I've been working on my aggression towards the guy. I had a really hard time doing that against Dekel last week, but
We'll get to that. Yeah.
it's hard. But or just like showing them that you can, so that there's a little bit of like hesitation to like covering the middle when you show them that you can go down the line, even if it maybe doesn't work out. Just showing them some different looks. So that's
You
what
had a nice 2-hand off the bounce speed up that like I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
how he left. I watched
Yeah.
it in real time.
I left it.
Yeah, but
I wasn't really expecting it. I was like, oh, it's out.
you missed by an inch, and it was this.
I know. Usually,
I see. We all think about this. It was insane. He was like, "Shoot," and I was like,
he's
"Damn."
really- nice try. I'm like,
Yeah,
No,
I've never seen you do that, so I did not expect it at all. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I left it. It was
Yeah.
out.
yeah, that was intentional.
Are you earning at all or showing Ernie? I feel like that's
Usually,
I don't-
no. It's also something that I'm
for
gonna
how athletic you are. That's
Next
low hanging fruit. If you're practicing ATPs,
Yeah,
the
I got
Ernies
it.
are up there. Not to
Yeah.
mansplain, but it's so easy because it's just the look. That's even just the look. It's not even you have to fully attempt it. It's
the
just the look.
pressure, yeah.
And that's what Dekel's talked a lot about with some mixed strategy and
Yeah.
stuff. But anyways, you guys got an opportunity to play. You were with Jack Sonk. You were with your right side stud and Tina. You played mixed, 3-gamer.
Yeah.
What was it like being across the net from Kate?
Tough. They killed us first game. I don't think Kate missed a ball, like a dink or a drop or a block or anything. And she's not easy to attack. She has a lot of power and like sits on the back end well. So you got to really pick your spots well. And Jack did a good job with his drives and just being aggressive at the right times. And I feel like we did a better job in the kitchen and getting more to the kitchen ourselves too in game 2 and 3. But yeah, it was a tough match. I feel like Jack maybe slowed down there a little bit at the end, wasn't as sharp. But yeah, I thought Kate played well the whole match. At the end, we were targeting Jack a little bit more because we saw he was struggling a bit, and we tried to be a little bit more aggressive because he wasn't as aggressive. So yeah, it was. I would say the first 2.5 games were kind of like a dogfight, and then at the end, Jack
Broke through.
yeah, Jack
That
was
was
gone at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We got to go there because we're not Big J journalists, but we got to go. We're seeing Gabe have incredible results in mixed, and then I was just doing well in men's. How do you look at that in the last month or two? Do you bust his balls about it, and is there a call to action to be like, hey, we got to figure something out for the Shock?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love Gabe. I'm super happy
Yeah.
for him, and I think
Yeah.
he's an extremely talented player, and I just want him to do well, and I feel like the better he does, and hopefully the better I do will just help us gain confidence. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing as a team is just to have some confidence. Like H and AB go in, and they're an amazing mixed team, and I think Gabe and I can figure it out. I think we've had some
Yeah.
good wins in MLP, and I think we just gotta jive a little bit more in terms of trusting each other. But I think we have it. I think and it can only go up from here. So I think hopefully we'll
figure it out for next year. You don't have to figure it out for the next two
Yeah,
events
next
or
year's
whatever.
good.
But yeah, next year is good.
We're meeting every week as a team and just no. But no, I love playing with Gabe. I think he's amazing,
Cool.
and I think we can do it. I think we're
AB was talking about ball manipulation of Hayden and Gabe, obviously so skilled, so wristy, but can really shape it. And I think that's kind of the common attribute for those 4 or 5 year picklers that have just become so pickleball native and want to explore all the little crevices of the court and space. And it's fun to see kind of Gabe do his stuff, whether it's in men's on the right, leaning in and like a loose wrist paddle, or
That's do that. He's like, you have to lean it all the way, and I'm like, it's not quite natural for me, but I'm like,
well, awesome. Who do you have coming up in Atlanta? Who are you partnering with?
Partnering with Todd Foe,
Nice.
which I'm pumped about.
He's been playing well, yeah.
First time partnership, yeah. Todd, and then I think the rest of the year I have Kwong, I think Jaume for one. But yeah, I think more than anything, for me, naturally, when I lose a match, I just think about what I could have done better. So, after the match, I talked to Tina a little bit and just what could I have done better, which I think is good. I'm just hard on myself, and but it was a fun match, and I think more than anything, I have a lot to work on after every match. I just journal what I need to work on, and so I go back and I try to do it.
Nice.
Cool.
And women's doubles, who do you have coming up?
I've got Lina. I've got
Nice.
Kaylin Christian for one. Yeah, I'm pumped.
Is that quali? Do you go through qualies now? If you have the points to qualify?
Not in Atlanta. I'm not, which is super solid. Yeah, I know.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
I not to jinx anything, but
Wow.
Bristol, I was in all three. So.
Technical oversight. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I had to play her in qualies.
Oh yeah.
In Dallas, that's such bullshit. Her and John. I'm like, fine, maybe third round, but second round of qualies, I'm like, come on.
Dance battles, I was like, shoot, he's quick.
Anyways, well, congrats on the well-earned momentum and early success, and thank you, Kate, for giving us your time.
Yeah,
thanks
this
for
was
joining us.
fun. Thanks for inviting me.
Look at that, she's leaving with a smile.
Oh,
We
let's
did
go.
it, dude.
I always smile on the court. I don't know what you're talking about.
That was our check-in with Kate Fahey. She's dope. I've gotten to know her decently well, but you can just tell how focused she is.
Yeah.
How hardworking she's been. Obviously, she's getting the results, but we talked with her a little bit after we hung up, and she's just super nuanced about where her game is, where she wants to go, where it fits into the relative landscape. It's impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, it speaks for itself. Her wins and how fast she improved shows that she's doing the right things and surrounded by the right people guiding her too, which is very important, especially when you're starting up.
It's like Mari, Tina Pisnik, Noe Cliff, her are in this category of just there's a lot that can explain what's going on, but it's fun to dig into that. So thank you, Kate. But anyways, we're going to kick this off. with This Week in Pickle, talk a little bit about what's going on in our hearts and our minds and our bodies, and then we're going to follow it up with a juicy tidbit this time, talking about the roll volley. So that's largely a ball from below the net that we're brushing up and out on. Use it as a fourth, use it as a speed up, something you see Ben do, Dekel does. But I have an important announcement.
Oh.
Two,
okay.
One is Dekel is not the 167th best pro pickleball player in the world.
What am I now?
I'd consider him top 10, but we need to set the narrative straight.
Okay.
For some people who may be tuning in for the first time, I've actually gotten a little bit of that confusion. I consider him 167, but he is the top 10 pro pickleball player in the world, so you should value his insights and tidbits a little bit. And I'm just a
Thanks,
GM
Ryan.
and semi-pro.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Big D.
This was hard. This was hard to achieve. So this is a big day for me. I haven't heard these words from Ryan.
That's not true, but we'll get to that in a more candid convo someday.
Not on the pod. Not on the pod.
The second thing is, you guys are all contracted, making the big bucks, showing up. There's not that much prize money. We talked about that with Kate. There's not that much prize money, but I feel like you should still have a prize from some friends for your silver medal.
Okay.
So Carlos and I would stay there.
This is a surprise to me too.
To help invest
God.
in the strength and longevity of your arm and of your wrist and your shoulder.
I thought you were gonna throw this at me.
No. It's too messy. We got him a rice bucket. We're going to be talking about grip training, wrist, forearm strengthening, but this is the ultimate tool for making these arms.
Can they see it?
Yeah.
This is a bucket full of rice. I thought it was
20
full
pounds of jasmine rice in a Home Depot bucket, but it takes more effort to do it and actually get it done. But Dekel, for your silver medal
Thank you so
in the Las
much.
Vegas Cup, we've given you.
Thank you,
the
Home
rice
Depot.
bucket.
Thank you, Ryan and Carlos, for this
Hey, we do what
ton
we
of
can.
rice. Thank you. When you came with this, I thought this was water or something else that you're gonna pour at me, and I was gonna run away.
No. This court, we treat this court
Thank
nicely.
you so much. Thank you.
Anyways, we're going to be getting and talking with James Ignatowicz, Mari Humberg, Dekel, myself, and a few others about wrist strengthening, mobility, extensors, all this stuff that makes you look good when you're out on the town, but also makes you play well and makes you play safely. But anyways, take the rice bucket. We'll show you how to use it.
Thanks, Ryan.
But This Week in Pickle, for me, it's pretty short and simple, really focused on the business side. So the lab, you'll see it maybe in the shot or not, but we've got sponsors up on the wall. Dekel's Pickleball Getaways will be there as well, alongside PaddleTech, Pro XR, and some other fun things that we're going to announce. And then Raise the Bar. We're entertaining some sponsors and trying to figure out our motion here. But thank you for all that are tuning in. I think we have a good cadence, and it's been really fun to do.
Yeah, for sure.
On the playing side, I've been drilling a little bit. I was home playing with some 3.5s and 4.0s and my mom. Shout out. I think she's a 3.5. Shout out to Barbara on the Cape. But so I haven't had the most intense play, but starting to drill again this week. And I've experimented with the sliced butt cap. This is not a paid promotion, but basically this is the weight to help make this feel less head heavy, give you a little bit more mass and control, but ultimately keep the weight close to you where your wrist and hand are, so it doesn't actually impede swing weight or the sense of hand. So that's been a fun experiment.
I've been putting weight on the bottom of my paddle. At first it was the whole grip, and now it's the bottom half. So I've been putting there for the past 2 or 3 years.
Maybe we'll get one. You can get these custom branded. We may get these for the lab, but maybe we'll. Yeah. You should try it out. It's interesting.
Yeah, I like it for the balance.
Yeah, the balance is great.
And it's I feel like it makes your paddle a little bit more whippy.
Yeah, you can kind of feel this very scientific.
It's a good sound.
And then on the pickle front, going to MLP New York City in 2 weeks. I'll be commentating there with my girlfriend Carolyn on the stream. You'll be playing.
Nice.
So otherwise, a little bit more tame this go around. But
me,
I heard rumblings that the tournament was hosted in Vegas.
It was in Vegas on the Strip.
Indoors?
Yeah. Indoors, yes.
With shitty courts. What is the 2 lines about the shitty courts? Because it's been talked about
2 lines,
to death.
Yeah. It was in the Fontainebleau Hotel in one of the boardroom. What do you call it? I don't know.
cultural stuff.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So it was like the room is like it's on carpet, so they built platforms. So it wasn't ideal to put the roll-on court on there. So we had a bunch of bad bounces. The bounces were low, but it's the first time they're trying these roll-on courts, and I'm sure it'll keep getting better. It was an amazing setup though. Like the courts weren't the courts weren't ideal, but like it looked amazing on TV. It was everything else for us was ideal. Like we're in the hotel, we're going downstairs to get to the courts. We have food there all around. We're on the strip. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to do. A lot of people, everybody kind of together. So really, besides like the bounce of the court, it was ideal. So I'm definitely coming back next year, and I'm sure I heard they might do some permanent courts. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm sure they'll fix the court to some degree, and it'll keep getting better. And as a spectator, I highly recommend to go. It was, I think, for the spectators, one of the most fun ones as well.
It was cool. It looked like WWE because they had the rigging for the lights.
Yeah. They added some things. They added like the massive screens and the lights and everything. I think they're trying to maybe get that in some more tournaments as well. So it was very special playing in that center court and just in general on the Strip in Vegas in such a beautiful hotel. And yeah,
cool. Thanks, and that was it.
Yeah, and that's it. All right, I'll see you next week.
Okay. Any other notable? That was way more than 2 sentences, but
my bad.
No, it is
but
fair.
It was just not just about the courts, and it was really nice there.
Really quick, gambling.
Gambling, yeah.
Did you have any winnings?
I played. I played a little bit of blackjack. A few of the nights, not max. Like I stayed there for an hour.
As good as Anna Bright. Like you won $1.
I won. Overall, I won $200. So. I won. There you go. Went out a winner in Vegas, and as a gambler, which is probably the first time. I don't gamble that much, but happy about that result more than anything. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. That's the rice bucket is definitely better than $200. But speaking of giveaways,
yes,
you didn't say it, but I thought it. YOLA is going to become a kind of big enabler for this podcast.
For sure.
Longtime YOLA athlete.
Thank you, YOLA, for always supporting. Best sponsor ever. Let's go.
Yeah. Dekel wears it loud and proud, as he should.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're helping this pod be a reality on your screen, in your ears. And so thank you to them. But one of the interesting parts is we're going to be having pretty regular giveaways. Giveaways. So if you would like to have a chance of winning a brand new YOLA paddle, I think it could be their choice. We're gonna figure it out.
How about this week we do it whatever Kate is playing with? So
whatever Kate Fahey is playing with, newly signed YOLA athlete, drop a link in the YouTube or drop a comment in the YouTube comment section.
I believe it's the Scorpius.
Okay, she plays with the Scorpius. We're giving away a Scorpius. Don't cut that, but maybe fast forward. We're giving away a Scorpius this week to one of the commenters in the YouTube section. All you have to do is leave a comment of what juicy tidbit you would like to potentially see next. It could be a skill, it could be a strategy question, whatever's going to help you on court. Drop that in the comments, and we're going to choose one lucky winner. But this is going to be pretty regular. So again, thank you, YOLA, and excited to see who's going to be yielding a brand new Scorpius.
Yeah?
Yeah. But let's get to the results.
So started with mixed doubles. Played with Tina.
Yep.
Pisnik. And, well, our first match, we started really well. Got very close. Anyway, it was a good match. We played Noe and Millie. Ended up winning in 3 close games. And then we played, like we said earlier, with on the pod with Kate and Jack. Again, three games.
It's on the stream if you want to dig into the 6-hour archive.
And then the quarterfinals, we played against J-Dub in Georgia. We got owned in the first game, 11-0, very quickly. Not our best game ever.
Owned.
Owned. And then we started playing better, making more balls, getting the kitchen more, dictating more rather than being dictated. Put Tina on the left in some of the rallies as well when we were returning. And I thought we played really well. We had good energy, and we turned around in the second game, won it I forget the score exactly, maybe 11-7, I don't know. And then third game we were up as well. Had one match point at 10-9 with half a chance and lost 12-10. I thought it was a high-level match. I thought everybody played well. It was good energy from me and Tina. So the previous week, it's something me and Tina talked about. We didn't have the best energy on court, just not as positive as we should be and energetic as we should be, and pushing each other. So this week was much better. We both were very energetic, very positive, and I thought it affected our games to the positive. And we played well in general, had our chance, and yeah, looking forward to next week and hopefully going a little bit further.
It was a close one.
It was a little bit of a heartbreaker, not gonna lie. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
But yeah, with progression, it's like, okay, moving on.
Exactly.
Gotta go gear up with Zane.
This is a little bit of a, right after that match, I basically had an hour to rest, and I'm still not thrilled with losing after having a match point, but going on a different quarterfinal match with Zane and playing a tough team. And so in the quarterfinals, me and Zane played Hayden and Pablo. We played well. We were up a game and up in the second. Then that's probably the best I've seen Pablo play.
Pablo got hot.
Pablo got really hot. At least against me. The best I've seen him play against me.
Yeah.
He got really hot, and from 6-3 down, they won 11-6. They won,
But not lucky hot either.
It
was there was some lucky hot where you're these low percentage shots continue to fall. It was more good hands, crashing and bashing on his own drive,
he was seeing the ball big, playing well. And third game was back and forth. We ended up winning 11-9, super close. I remember it being 9-9, and I'm being wait, I've been here on this court 2-3 hours ago with the same score line. I don't want to lose again in the exact same way. That was on my mind. So it's still it's very fresh. You just lost a heartbreaking match, and you're on again playing gender doubles now, and basically exact same situation, and trying to get that away from your mind and trying to play better in those points and maybe do things different, or just trying to win it instead of losing after a match point. So I'm glad we were 9-8. Yeah, we were 9-8 down, and then we won 11-9. So that was a great 3 points from us, or one bad miss from Pablo, and then 2 good points from us. Then we played semifinal after that against Christian and Riley, who beat Ben and Colin. So
former DC alumni.
Yeah. So
going up against the current DC.
Exactly. Old DC, old news. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, 2 great players, and they played together, so they know each other well. That was one of the fastest matches, in terms of pace that I played.
Yeah.
They won the first pretty easily, 11-4, and then they were also driving and being aggressive. And I remember me and Zane talking whoever's more aggressive here is winning the points.
Yeah.
So we started being more aggressive. We were driving more. When we got to the kitchen, we were more aggressive as well. Very fast-paced match. I thought both me and Zane played well, and won the second 11-4. And then up in the third as well, managed to clinch it 11-7. It was first time playing with Zane. We play a lot here at the lab. We've played against each other for the past 6 years or so. It was. Zane is a very good partner, very positive. Helps you play better.
Let's dig into that though. Why?
What?
He helps you play better in what regard? Is that because you hit a good shot and he's like,
yeah,
you hit a good shot, or is it you hit a good attempt, it didn't work out, but he's still there?
Both. So if you're not playing well, he pumps you up and helps you play better, and try being a good friend and a good partner.
Yeah.
And if you are hitting good shots, it's keep doing that, or just being positive, and it's a lot about energy and just how you approach your partner, and not oh, you hit a good shot, I expect you to hit that, or you miss, what are you doing? That's the exact opposite. And just himself also, when he's missing, is not angry, or he gets a bad bounce, and then the energy is off because you know, he feels unlucky and it's not good. So it's everything together. Like however you're feeling, that's being directed at your partner as well, or being like your partner is being felt by your partner.
Yeah.
Your partner is being infected by it. So even if I'm not feeling my game the best, I'm trying not to show it to my partner, just so they don't think I'm struggling and now they're concerned about me when they, you know, should be focusing more on themselves and just like what they should be doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, being a good partner is huge. Positive.
Do you remember your first bad partner?
My first bad partner? Not really.
Put you on the spot. Where you're just like, oh damn, like you probably had normal partners or a good partner, and then you go with this person for the first time in a matchup, and you're just like, damn, they're not that good.
Because this is the same for me for tennis. Like I had bad partners in tennis, great partners in tennis. So I don't remember. Oh, this is the first time I'm feeling this, like the first time feeling. So I don't remember. It kind of continued for me, like from tennis to pickleball. It's not like, oh, this is new. First time I'm like, I have a bad partner, so I don't really remember.
We get it. You've played team racket sports. We get it. Speaking of tennis, real quick, Bao. Shout out to Bao. He needs no introduction. He asks, do you ever miss tennis? Just
no.
say. Okay.
No, I do not.
There was an expletive when you told me that off camera.
Yeah, I do not miss tennis. I miss maybe parts of it. I miss how the ball feels on the racket. It's a really nice feeling when you hit the ball well. I don't miss the game itself that much. I don't miss the tour.
Do you miss the serve as a weapon?
I do miss the serve as a big weapon. It is a weapon, and hopefully it will stay a weapon unless the rules are completely changing. It's already not. We can get into this later, but I don't miss tennis as a whole in general. I think it's a great sport with a lot of great things. I think it helps. No.
Okay, you want to say it?
Yeah.
Hey,
no.
You know?
I think
it
helped me.
Left side co-host.
Thank you.
You take it.
I think it helped me a lot as a person, as a player. All right, see you, Ryan. Tennis can give you a lot of things, but I don't miss it. I had my time with it, and here we are. Pickleball is much better, more fun for everybody, and the whole spiel. So, Ryan?
Yeah, let's talk about the finals. You got the championship Sunday.
So we got to Sunday. So that was an interesting match. We lost the first game.
You and Zane play.
Me and Zane playing Gabe and Andre.
The Johns have been eliminated because Christian and Riley played hard and fast.
Yep.
And then Christian muttered something at the net. And then Dylan and J-Dub had lost
to Gabe and Andre.
So, anyways, full main draw. You guys are in the finals. It's big.
No, for sure. No, we played well to get there for sure, and I thought we played well in the final for most of the match as well. First game was not great I think by both of us. We played average or a little bit below. And we lost 11-6. Second game, I thought we both played very well. We started hot and continued, won 11-3 or something like that. Third game, we started really well too. We were up like 4-0, but then they kind of got the momentum going. But again, we were up 9-7 or something like that. Lost it 11-9. I think that was the key there. Like game 3, just when we were feeling good and playing well and winning the kitchen battles, like me and Andre were going cross court a lot. And I thought we were winning those battles in general. I felt like I had some good attacks. We had some good shake and bakes as well, and we were just feeling good in kind of their overall game. I wouldn't say we iced Gabe, but we definitely didn't play as much to him in the second and third game as we did in the first, and maybe played more middle and behind Andre. And even when Gabe did have the opportunity, I kind of took like half a step back each time when he had like a dead dink in front of me, and I felt like he, didn't want to attack when I'm more ready for it and have more time to slap it back. So he wasn't as aggressive, and Andre started to be a little bit more aggressive at the end of that game or middle of that game, and caught Zane a few times.
A few? I say this as a friend of Zane. It was a lot. It was wild. I thought Zane was angling for like a big pretzel endorsement because he was just. It was tough. We all have these bad streaks. He's in Championship Sunday. Not trying to take shots, but it was just very odd to watch in real time because he was getting bagged or confused without even like committing to one side. So
Yeah.
I think Dave and Adam on the call were like similarly like, what is happening? But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Andre hit some good shots. Zane weren't ready for some of them. And yeah, and fourth game we didn't play well. A few returners, a few dinkers. And in general, like you said about Zane, I thought he played amazing. The whole week. The whole week Zane
No,
played.
you guys are gonna play again.
No,
It
and
went
yeah,
that well.
of course. I would love to play again with Zane. He really balled out the whole week, not just as a partner, but as a player. You know, a game or two in the final wasn't as clean, but you know, it was super fun. I had one of the best time on court, so that also helps me play better. When I'm having fun there, I'm playing way better too.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big part of it.
Which, honestly, could be framed as like, oh, you got to feel good to play good, and it's like, no. But almost, there's very few outliers to this, but almost all of the top players do echo that same sentiment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, you don't have to feel good to play good. Sometimes I'm not enjoying myself, and I feel like I'm playing well.
Yeah.
But it's easier to play good when you're having fun. It's just easier to do.
Yeah.
It's just like any job you do, it's easier to do a good job or just be more motivated for your job if you're enjoying it. So it's like that for anything in life. So yeah. Congrats. Silver. Congrats to Gabe and Andre. 2 golds in a row. They're playing really well. Yeah, I'm gonna play next week. Yeah.
Do you want to clarify that you were not yelling at Gabe's face or like barking at him?
Oh yeah, I did one very loud "come on."
But the way the angle was
kind of
shot,
directed
according
at
to
Gabe.
Dekel,
It might have been somewhat like towards Gabe, but it was definitely not intentional towards Gabe.
It's fine.
I think Gabe knows that it's not an issue. Gabe's
so chill. He's just
Gabe's
like
a friend.
modifying.
Gabe doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so we'll get a little bit in the serving thing that we had there.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? There was an issue? Yeah. I got called like, I don't know, 6 or 7 around that time.
It was
for
a weird sequence of stuff.
Questionable serves, which is the first time I've ever been called on that. Not because my serve is not close or anything like that, but because this was somewhat of a new rule. Apparently it is on the USA Pickleball rule book, but it's something that no ref or nobody has ever like called.
Which is what specifically?
Just like reserve. So if it's a questionable serve, it's a reserve. But what is questionable? It's basically if they're not 100% sure or something like that, that the ball was struck correctly, then it's a reserve.
But they could also call you out for a straight fault if they were
if they're sure,
definitively-
if they think your serve was illegal, then they call you straight up on the fault. Which they did call me once on a fault, and then I challenged it, and of course it was overturned because my serve is always legal.
$50.
$50 still.
If you find
one from a good angle, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm still waiting. People are still saying on all these different platforms that my serve is not legal.
The boomers hate Dekel.
Come on, find it.
Honestly,
Send it to us. You'll get free money.
There's a risk.
Come
There's a risk that boomers aren't going to go on pickleball getaways with the rate of which you inflame the Facebook groups.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not.
No,
honestly,
I feel like there's a lot of people support the serve.
Yeah.
And some people. I feel like it depends who they're cheering for. If they're cheering for my opponents and we beat them, then they're, cheering against the serve.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think in general, most people like the serve, at least from what I've experienced. Anyway, this was a new instruction to the refs to call it tighter or just like to enforce this specific rule that has never been called, and I think there was a reason why nobody has ever called on a questionable serve to reserve, because it kind of, I think it looks silly, and also it's like if the ref thinks it's legal, like you talk to the ref after, he's like, yeah, I mean I wouldn't call it as a fault. I thought it was legal, but it's it's close, so by the rule I need to call it questionable. So that's kind of.
Did Andre or Gabe ever challenge? I think they challenged one. Did they challenge one?
No, they didn't challenge. No.
It was all ref
initiated. Yeah, it was all ref initiated. I don't blame the ref. He did his job as he was directed to do. So nothing there, but just weird that I'm not a fan of changing the way you call things during the week. So hopefully we won't have that again.
You and Christian should have a serve off.
Yeah. Why?
Creating a little online
Yeah,
pickle
I mean,
beef with
Christian
a
was-
rancher's teammate.
Christian was upset that
That's fun.
in the
Yeah.
semis it wasn't called questionable, and in the finals it was.
Yeah.
Which, you know, he felt like maybe it was robbed. I explained it to him that he was not, and that they're all legal, and that was pretty much it. He's like, yeah, you're hitting a good serve. It's close. Blah blah blah. That's
You're
all
the
good.
fake villain, Dekel.
You're
the fake villain.
How do I become a real villain?
I understand if people don't understand all the rules and
Yeah,
where
yeah.
the rules currently are, not only all the variations, but where they are. And it is very easy for casuals to be like, oh,
Yeah.
that's illegal. Like,
Because
it's very
I
easy
agree.
for them to
It looks-
think for sure.
yes.
And,
And
I'm
it
not a Dekel supporter at all costs. Like I would call
I
him
thought
out.
you're not a Dekel supporter.
Cut it. I'm not a Dekel supporter, but I would bust his chops and or press him if I thought it was illegal. Also, we have
One second.
no,
So,
one
what?
sec.
What?
I want to invoke something on your behalf.
Oh,
Matty
okay.
Pickles,
Oh,
one of the best nerds about analytics, results, the things going on. He's an APP shill, but within the world of pro pickleball, did slow-mo analysis of all of your questionable serves and stands by the fact that 7 of those 7 were legal and should
all
have
of
been
them.
Fine. So Matty Pickles, thank you.
thanks, Maddie.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
But anyways, you continue on our finishing note.
Yeah, I know. I've looked at my serve from all different angles, which is why I know it's always legal. I understand how people may think it's illegal. Maybe they don't know all the rules exactly because they keep changing on the PPA tour, and in general there's a lot of different tweaks. And also it looks right before I hit it that it will probably be illegal. But 2 things happen kind of at the same time. One, my toss is high and then it drops down and I go up on my toe. So at the end, in the contact, that's all that matters, and it follows all the rules at that point, which is, again, all that matters. So if you find something that is not, send it to us. You'll get $50 for free. Enjoy it. You will not find it, but enjoy wasting your time if you want to try. That's it.
You nailed it. Anyways, that money comes straight from Dekel's pocket,
Yes.
not
Sponsored from anybody or
not
anyway.
raise the bar budget. So yeah, go bankrupt them, please. But there's rumblings of changes coming, but we're going to talk about that if and when that comes.
Yeah, we'll see. There's always
Yeah,
talks
but
about like we saw in Bristol. They were like tinkering with things.
always
so.
a bucket list thing to have a rule named after you or because of you. So anyways, we'll get to that, but let's get into the juicy tidbit, the roll volley. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, juicy tidbit time. We're going to be talking about the roll volley. Dekel, just give us an air motion. What's the roll volley?
Roll volley,
Boom.
backhand, forehand.
But mostly we're going to focus on the backhand right now. It's the start that you see Dekel and Ben and a few others hit. It's really important. When?
2 main times. One, when your opponents are back and you're trying to keep them back. So you're rolling the ball to their feet or just deep because they're behind the baseline. You don't want to use it when they're creeping in and ready to bounce, because usually we'll hit the roll volley when the ball is net level or below the net level, and then we're hitting it up usually. Sorry, Ryan. If the ball is higher, we're hitting a regular volley down, so different volley. So again, 1 is when they're back and you're trying to keep them there. 2 is when, let's say I'm dinking cross court with my opponent, and I can take the ball from the air and redirect it towards the person in front of me, and then I can go to a few different spots and attack them. So this is basically an attack. Not always to win the point, but sometimes to set up the next shot.
And the key thing here, and the reason why we use it on force, is because if someone hits a drop or a reset that is at the net level or slightly below, we want to be able to keep them back and not just have to kind of volley that or let it bounce. Like, we want to actually keep the pressure on within reason. And if you don't have this shot, then you can't really do it, because as soon as you step back to try to hit that, it's going to be low and they're already coming in and you give them time. So
right, they have more time. The further back I go, they have more time to do it. The ball travels towards me here and from me to the line. It's just double the time that they get.
And if you're working on, I would say if you're working on integrating this, you start with using this as a 4th and 6th ball technique. It gets a little bit tougher. There's certainly like a jump up in difficulty to execute this, in judging the right dink to do it on that's you're catching out of the air. And then, you know, whether you hit a good one or a bad one, that shot in follow-up, you know, as a counter is much tougher to plan as opposed to they're already within 1 feet of the baseline. Let me kind of keep them back. You know, it's start with it, using it consistently in as a 4th shot.
For sure. And this is not an easy shot at first. It won't go as smooth, but like with everything, with reps, you'll get better and better at it and understand when to use it better.
So before we hit a ball, let's kind of convey the importance of your feet, your body stature, your positioning, and then we can apply some air motion, patent pending air motion.
So regardless if my opponents are in the back or I'm hitting cross court and waiting or trying to attack my opponents, this is my ready position, arms in front, and then if the ball comes to my backhand, I'm hitting the ball from below the net or net level, from down to up. Very important. You want to get that spin from your paddle. It's important to have your paddle facing this way, your opponent. If the paddle is facing up, then I can't really generate that topspin, and the ball will just go up. If my paddle is facing my opponent like this, then I can brush the ball from underneath the ball, go up, and that's what creates our spin, the friction with our paddle. It's not too much of the wrist. People think sometimes, oh, this is just a lot of wrist. I need to come over the ball like that to create the topspin. No, it comes from coming under the ball and brushing it exactly like Ryan is showing us.
I feel like a flight attendant.
Yes. Another thing is the lower the ball is, the more I'm coming from under the ball and going up. The higher the ball is, the more I am kind of going through the ball and going forward. In general, you want to do both all the time, go forward and up. And just the ratio of how much forward and up you go depends on how high or low the ball is.
So another flight attendant visual. So this is purely out and away from you. Similar, like if you're doing a block in a volley. And then up, obviously, is like, you know, that paddle. But we kind of want it probably defaulting at a 45-degree angle. But as Dekel said, if you're going low, it's got to be like this. If it's here, you're kind of more out and up, kind of tossing that
and
out.
We'll show you a few examples. So you'll see when the ball is higher, I'm going a little bit more through the ball. And if the ball is lower, I'm going a little bit more up and less forward. But it's still almost always it's forward and up.
Where is your elbow? I have 2 questions. Where is the elbow and or arm? Like, are we trying to cock this up? And 2 is sometimes I see your paddle goes back relative to where your wrist is back. Like, is that a important part or not?
So I would focus, in general, for this shot to come from your shoulder, to go down to up like this from your shoulder.
That's why we got to get in the weight room, picklers.
Yes.
That's why you got to be physically fit.
And next step, once you get a little bit better with it, you control your wrist a little bit better, you add a little bit of wrist to it. Again, the wrist is not our focus. Our focus is coming from our shoulder. As you see, my elbow is forward, my arm is forward, and it's coming from my shoulder here. But I'm also adding some wrist to it. I'm not adding this crazy wrist to add the spin. I'm just adding a little bit of wrist to add some more pop to it. And that will come naturally as you get better in this shot. So don't try as soon as you start it. Just try a lot of wrist. Build into it. Slowly use a little bit more wrist, and you'll understand how much you can or cannot do. But don't, especially at the start, don't focus on the wrist.
If you are working into your game and you are at this intermediate level where you don't need to be cautioned about the wrist, I would say my hot take is the higher balls where you're going more out is where you get a little bit more of that wrist, because you're throwing your kind of arm and shoulder at it, but that's where the wrist comes in. But below the net, it gets really dicey on trying to involve that wrist prematurely, and that will come, as you said, you know, that's the last 10 or 20% of this that will work into it once you've hit 300 of these deliberately, you know. in that brushing up.
I mean, we
So,
do have
yeah.
we do have the players like J-Dub who uses a lot of wrist, and it's kind of a little bit of a different backhand roll than what like Ben is using, for example, which is more similar to this one. J-Dub uses a lot of wrist this way to create power, but it's usually on the balls that are a little bit higher, and this is different than the ball we're talking about exactly right now. So under the ball, paddle facing my opponent, and brushing underneath. Very simple, coming from my shoulder, not a lot of wrist involved, if at all. I'll add one with a little bit more wrist. But again, it's not unnecessary. This would be my suggestion to start. Give me one more.
Yes,
Start
sir.
like this. Nice top spin with no wrist at all, coming from your shoulder, as we said.
And I think the important thing that I can see from this angle is that paddle face being relatively square or shut to me. It's not this. It's you kind of got to get that ball kind of off your paddle and up and away from you. Yeah.
Great. And this, we do use our wrist to rotate our paddle this way or that way. So you do want to use your wrist to get in the good position like that.
Slow-mo enable. Here we go. Back to real time. Now, what are the considerations if you're trying to do this as a speed up so you do get this ball that's a little too high on the cross-court dink? Does the technique change, and or what do you have to look out for next?
Yeah, first things first, I'm in the athletic position and I'm leaning in looking for that ball. If I'm not in a good ready position, it's harder for me to recognize it. I'm looking.
And one note on that, that's why you see Ben or J-Dub kind of like they're looking for it, and then if they decide that it can't be or should be attacked, then they default to the dink. But they're looking for it stable. They're not kind of like grasping for straws. They're like looking for it. No, it's not there. Then now I need a dink. And then they're looking for it. No, it's not there. But they're like poised to do it. It feels like their first option. And if they get a ball, then they pull the trigger on it. If they don't, then they just dink and they continue the shot.
I want to hit this shot to a few different spots. So first of all, if I know my opponent's tendencies, then I'm going for their weaker area. And two, I mean, the chicken wing is always a good spot to go to. People struggle to cover this area, so this will be definitely one of my go-tos. Yep, and if my opponent is covering it well, I'll just keep adding different spots. I don't want Ryan there to know where I'm going. If I keep hitting the same spot over and over again, Ryan will just sit on it after one or two times, and I will lose the point. So varying your attacks is important, and in every aspect, in every spot in the court. Every attack you do, variance is great. Also, I am ready. This is kind of like for the next step. If I'm attacking certain spots, I'm also covering for the combination. Like we said, sometimes this is not a winning shot. I'm setting up myself for an easier shot. So if I'm attacking Ryan's forehand over there, I'm most likely sitting on my backhand after, because it's unlikely Ryan was so ready that with his forehand he was able to get it all the way cross court. He's most likely going to hit it to this area, which I can cover with my backhand, and then I have a nice combo thanks to my backhand roll.
Oh!
He doesn't trust me.
Boom.
No.
We're going to end on that one. But yeah, that's the juicy tidbit, the roll volley. Start to work it in your drilling, in your deliberate practice, and then start to try it in a smart situation in your rec games.
Yes, and slowly you can add some wrist to it. It's a little wrist flick. It is helpful, it is good, but start with the basics from your shoulders.